We are here at the Remodelers Advantage Summit in Chicago, where to even get into their program, your company needs to be doing $1 million a year. That's why in today's video, I'm going to be going around and asking contractors what it takes to run $1 million company. Let's get into it. Woo! Jared, if I'm a contractor trying to make $1 million in revenue for the very first time, what's one thing I can do to help me get there?
The biggest piece of advice that I would have is just seek out education and seek out mentors and others to be able to help you along. Like, you don't have to go through figuring this thing out on your own. All of the answers are out there. You just have to be willing to go out and learn it and find out. And aligning yourselves with the right people.
Hire support so that you can go sell. Hire somebody to do one thing or two things that can take that off your plate, so that you can go sell the next $250,000, $500,000.
I would say that starting off for a new contractor or a new company, getting buy-in from the lowest level of the company. So maybe an apprentice carpenter or somebody else that's just starting the business, figuring out how to get them bought into the why of the company. What's the company doing, and why on earth why is it important to them?
Best advice I'd give is you have to trust somebody to do some of the work that you do now. You can't do it yourself. And at some point you have to trust somebody to do other pieces of the business.
Perseverance. You have to have an open mind, willingness to learn, and you have to stay the course.
A lot of people doing smaller amounts of revenue, it's just the owner or the owner and a partner doing all the work. I think the biggest breakthrough is going to be when you hire that first person. That's going to be the ability to free you from the day-to-day work, think about the future vision, and then allow delegation of that work. So it's hiring that first person.
Sticking to it, working on the basics, working on the fundamentals. Just slow growth over time.
I think the most important thing that helped me was what we call job costing. And I break it down into 3 categories of cost: labor, materials, and subcontracts. And I keep very careful track of every hour and every penny that goes into those 3 categories, and I put it on a spreadsheet and I save it. And at the end of the job, I can see how much I spent on everything, and I have to be brutally honest with myself about my time, about every aspect of cost on the project.
It would definitely be hire somebody else to help you get there. You can't do it alone, or at least you can't do it as easily alone. So for me, my first hire was somebody in production, somebody to help me kind of facilitate the projects, because I was better kind of selling jobs and organizing things. So for me, it was finding somebody that could help get the production done while I was trying to build the business. Somebody else was actually taking the production and moving that process forward.
Look for your blind spots, see where you can improve. If you're having problems with sales, then ask yourself why. Look into where your problems are with sales. Learn how to improve with your sales tactics. If you're having problems with production, then invest in production. Invest in figuring out how you're going to produce, and eventually putting that work in, that development, that professional development, personal development process that will net you gains that you're looking for.
You got to be very intentional about hiring the right people. So the first year we were in business, we did about $350,000 in revenue. And we ended up making a couple of hires. I think the first one that you have to be very intentional about is getting yourself out of the field so that you can focus on sales. And the minute we started to hire people for the field, we hired trustworthy individuals to run that side of the company. We grew to 1.2 million, slowly got up to 2, and now we're 10 years into the business. We're doing roughly $8.5 million.
I had a great partner who took over some stuff in the production area. And then I got a little bit of help in the office, and then all of a sudden I could go sell and produce estimates and drawings, and that really helped free us up to get over that $1 to $2 million mark.
At some point we need to hire a project manager, because I couldn't do it all, and you end up losing money because you're not doing change orders, you're not staying on top of the job because you're too busy. So hiring a project manager took us to that next level, because now I could concentrate on other parts of the business.
When we jump into running our own business early on, we think we know pretty much everything we need to do. We produce nice work and people will call us. And as you find out, you're also learning how to price a job properly. You're also learning how to price a job properly so you're making a profit. Profit lets you move on and do other work and provide great customer service. And you're also learning, for most of us, we're also learning how to work with other people.
You know, we create processes and we want to develop a great experience for our customer, and that takes practice.
If you have somebody that is not aligned with the company culture, if they don't understand or they don't agree with why we're doing something, they're not the right person in the company. Like, only people that are on the same mission as your company are worth having in the company.
Figure out the thing you like doing the least, right? I mean, for us, I think our first hire was site management was our first, and our second hire was office admin. We needed someone that just could bring everything together, communicate with potential clients, run the office, do bookkeeping, things of that nature. Things that can be offloaded off your plate to have you think about the bigger picture.
I save that. I can go back and review it. I can also write my estimate for the next job based on how I did on that last one, and then I can do job costing on the next job, and I can compare my actual cost to my estimated cost, and that teaches me how to be a better estimator. And if I can be a better estimator, I think I can win more jobs and grow my jobs.
It's getting them on board with it, explaining why is it very important for us to be on time? Why is it important for us to obviously be on budget? Why is it important that we put down the dust protection the way that we do and inform the clients and not play loud music in their home? And why are these things important? And it plays into the values that our company has and the promise that we make to our customers.
The numbers tell your business if you're doing well or if you're not doing well. So if you don't know your numbers, you don't know if you're doing well or not. One of our first jobs, where we didn't know our numbers, we estimated the project, we didn't know how to estimate the project, we worked through the project, and we didn't know if we're doing well or not throughout the project. But at the end, when we calculated all the job costs, it ended up that we had worked all that time, and I made about $400 total over 6 months of work.
Always 2 interviews, and always a second interview has to be done by the owner yourself. You have to be the person who, is the gatekeeper and who's coming into your company. You got to be able to, you have to put yourself in a position of reading people really well. So use your intuition and make sure that you are the guy who's more hiring on culture. When you have other people that are interviewing people based on their experience and their, aptitude for working in that environment, your goal is, are you going to fit in well with my team? I'm going to protect my culture. I'm only going to bring people in that really kind of help build this company up from a personality perspective.
So pushing through a storm for us or for me would be like we've botched a job, we didn't price it properly, and or we've gotten a really not so friendly customer. And again, it's just about perseverance and recognizing that this is just one of many down the road, and you nose to the grindstone and you correct for your mistake and you get through it.
In the beginning, when I started, I undersold. I undervalued my labor because I thought, how can it really cost that much? It probably won't cost that much. It'll go quick. It'll go well. I'm an optimist. But having hard data in a job cost report spreadsheet that you can look at later will allow you to quickly get to the place where you're confident enough to sell at the price that you need to sell at.
Well, you kind of shift into a business owner mentality, right? Where you can go on vacation, you can do things of that nature, and start to think about the big picture and plan for the following year instead of just thinking about what you're going to do that week. You're thinking about what you're going to do next year. Focus on sales. Focus on things that need to improve instead of just getting the work done.
Well, great groups like this, like Remodelers Advantage, will kind of coach you into doing, they'll kind of do a SWOT analysis of a company and assess, what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And in that quick little exercise, you're going to extract what you're good at and what you need help with, and then you would hire to your weaknesses typically.
I started coming to the conferences in 2017, and we were below $1 million when I first came out, and that's their threshold, right? Is you got to reach $1 million to be able to go. So when we were at 890, I said, "Listen here, Steve, you need to let me in." And then the next year we did 1.4, and then we did 2.0. And this group has been really instrumental because it's folks who are all on the same journey as me, who are all doing the same thing as me, and we're able to help each other out by providing our experiences, by providing our resources, and just sharing open-heartedly. And then, so that's roundtables, and then Remodelers Advantage as a whole just being around people that are playing on a higher level allows you to see them and say, you know what, like what actions are they taking that I can take those same actions to get those same or similar results. And so groups like Remodelers Advantage are invaluable for the growth that they allow us.